Sorry, Facebook, for a second. I'm trying to get Instagram to work for once in my friggin' life doing this from home. Let's see. Technology, good times. I managed to get my logo in the screen. I'm so impressed with myself. So, hello. I don't know if you can hear her, but I'm talking to the party who's trying to join me on Instagram right now. And as soon as we get that sorted, then we're going to go here on Facebook laughing hysterically. It still says waiting for you to join. I know, I can hear myself talking in yours and it's weird. I don't know. Did you click join? All right, well, Havoc in the Attic on YouTube. I don't know what that is. It doesn't, it says, okay, so I waved at you, but it just says waiting for you. Oh, hang on now. Requests, Jess, add. Come on, technology. Okay, well, while I'm waiting for that to go, oh, there you go. Oh, no. Bad feedback, bad feedback. Can't do both. Hang on. Dang it. I don't think we're going to be able to do both. Okay. Sorry, Instagram. Okay. I finally got somebody online and on Instagram. And of course, the feedback is brutal, which I should have known, but it's never worked before. Okay. So sorry, I just got to clue that up here. And I'm still going to go live there. So if anybody has any questions to ask, we can go for both. Welcome to my technology COVID life. So hello, everybody. Sorry for that minute of nothing. I didn't do a live last week. I took a little break after Mother's Day because the buzz boxes were incredibly busy. So we're back now this week, and I'm going to be talking to a physiotherapist. So if you have questions about how you're feeling these days at home, if you're working at home or not working at all, and you have aches and pains from the specialists you're not able to see, hopefully she's going to be able to help you out. Tomorrow the newsletter comes out as normal. If you haven't signed up for it yet, you can do so on churrobuzz.com. It's full of activities, recipes, things to do, concerts going on, all kinds of stuff within COVID times that is in place of events we would normally be going to. So I'm going to bring her on Facebook. Sorry, we brought her on Instagram, and there was some horrible feedback because I can't do the both cameras. So my apologies. But if you do have questions, I will ask them too, and you should be able to still hear her talk. So I'm going to show you in stream. Oh, it's counting you down.
Hi, guys.
So full disclosure, Jess is a very good friend of mine, and she has treated me. She's like, don't hold that against me or her. Yeah, so you are a physiotherapist. How long have you been in physio now?
About 10 years.
Holy crap, has it been that long? Man, time flies.
I know.
Yeah, no kidding. So we've been on these lives, we've been talking a lot about mental health and dealing and all that, but we really haven't talked much about the physical. I am someone that gets chiropractic monthly, and and I also usually get massages every couple of weeks, and now it's been a very long time, and I am feeling it. I'm only partially working from home, but I know a lot of people have had to make home offices, and whether they're as ergonomic as their other work offices were or not, I don't know. But we thought it would be lovely to get a physiotherapist on here to talk about the aches and pains we are very likely having and what we can do about it. So Jess is in Newfoundland. She was previously working in the Truro area, but she left us. But we won't discredit her medical opinion. So how long have you guys been closed down?
We shut down on March 18th.
Yeah, so same as us.
So a while.
Right, yeah. And you were running between 2 clinics with full days of patients. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine how those people are coping. Have you?
I mean, lucky for us, we did have the option to offer virtual services. Mm-hmm. So that has kind of allowed us to expand our reach a little bit further. Hi, Kathy.
I might have texted some people and told them you were going to be on.
Now, unfortunately, I mean, not everybody has access to, internet that's stable enough to use or has the devices. So in some circumstances, we've even done some sessions by phone. Hi, Elaine. but do what we can to kind of provide the advice need be. A lot of the feedback that we've gotten like from patients and coworkers is that people are really thankful to have this option, because I think a lot of us wondered with the historically really hands-on job, how that would work to be so hands-off. So
No.
so far so good. Even with like specialty services, like we've been able to do like concussion and pelvic health and TMJ treatment virtually, which really was a really good learning experience for all of us. So with respect to, the physical ailments, we'll say, associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, kind of three major areas to touch on. So like you had mentioned, we've got the people, who either were already engaged in treatment or would have become engaged in treatment that now don't have access to these services. We've got the people who are trying to work from home and maybe, a not ergonomically ideal workstation. And then we've also got the change in physical activity routine, because we saw a lot of closures in gyms and recreational facilities, in parks and green spaces. So it's really thrown people for a loop. And one thing, kind of comes back to in times like this, when so many of us kind of structure our lives around workday, is how to establish a healthy routine that, even though we have more downtime, it doesn't necessarily translate to more productive time. So, the sooner you can establish a routine to take that time for yourself, because we dedicate time to work, time to, kids or pets or activities or volunteer opportunities. But the hardest part often is when am I going to take, the 30-45 minutes to myself to do something for my physical and mental health? So one thing that, anyone who has absence from treatment, that would be something to look into, is that there are a lot more clinics than you think, actually offering virtual or teleservices, or using their social media platforms to try to, provide some general education, like here's a stretch of the day, or here's an activity recommendation that, people would benefit from. So there definitely are ways to try to stay connected. So that's one thing that would give people an option. With respect to, workstation at home, Workplace Health and Safety actually came out with a self checklist for setting up your at-home workstation that I will send the PDF to Alicia. Just gives some basic guidelines for, computer height, desk height, because ideally, we're not doing what I'm doing, sitting on a bed,
Mhm.
with a laptop in your lap, because you don't want to have head down for 8 hours a day. Another big point to look at with working from home, because it does generally make that work-life balance so much more challenging, is, the World Health Organization has come out to say that even a stretch or standing break of 2 to 3 minutes every 30 to 60 minutes is beneficial, whether you stand up, walk around the table that you're working at, walk up and down the stairs, maybe go put laundry in, put the dog out. Even short breaks like that have been shown to, decrease stiffness in the joints, decrease resting heart rate. Better benefits to your metabolism and things like that, because seated work is hard on the body. Hi, Sylvia. So that's something else that I will forward on to Alicia. Just some, basic ways to find opportunities to exercise in the home. Hopefully now that we're trending towards, less cases in the community, we're going to have, well, there was only one case in Nova Scotia yesterday, right?
Yeah, there's 4 today. So it's definitely getting better.
Oh, so hopefully that's going to allow more outdoor exercise opportunities. But in that same document from World Health Organization, they made some recommendations for how you could exercise in the home. So if you are physically, stuck in the house, whether you're self-isolating or just not comfortable with your community surroundings, there are opportunities there. And then from an activity perspective, we live in the Atlantic provinces, so not necessarily, great weather, but we also don't live in Atlantic Canada for the weather. So, whether you have to dress in layers, dress up, the benefits of fresh air for activity is good in usual circumstances, but especially now when you're not getting, the break from home to get out to a different work environment or different social environment. An exercise, combine the two, really is an excellent way to try to, expand that home environment. And, from an exercise perspective, there's also a lot of free options that you can engage in at home. Walking obviously is free, and now that we're free of the snow, even sidewalks, if it's not terribly engaging
To be clear, she's
environment.
planned right now, so nobody freak out that we have snow coming or have had hurry periods of snow.
Now, I am not in Cornerbrook where they were supposed to have 15 to 30 centimeters today, thankfully.
No. Oh my God.
But so we'll be thankful for that. There's also a lot of different opportunities for exercise in the home. I mean, we know there's lots of subscriptions that you can pay for. I thought I'd focus on the free options because obviously right now a lot of people not able to work from home and, limited income. The easier we can make this, the more successful people generally are.
Yep.
So any, Pinterest users, for example, I just did a quick screen over the last few days, and there are hundreds of options for, exercise with no equipment, with limited space, with body weight. There's cardio only. You can pick your range of time. There's also rubrics for how to increase your walking or increase your running. Another option obviously would be with YouTube. There's a couple of YouTube channels that I generally go to for patients who are looking for something and they prefer to exercise in the home. So for any yoga lovers, one that I've always had success with and heard a lot of good feedback on is Yoga with Adrienne. So that's free. You can do her 30 days in a row, or you can pick and choose, but really great way, modifiers in it. So, and again, no equipment. You can lay a towel out or a rug. You don't need to have a yoga mat per se. There is
also a fitness blender is a good one.
Oh, I haven't used that one. So that's another
Maybe
one.
Talk. Mm-hmm. Maybe you guys should talk.
Another one is Fitness Marshall. If anybody likes to dance, any Zumba lovers, the only thing I found with his is that they're posted one song at a time. So until you kind of pick what you want to queue up, it's a little bit of messing around in between, but I guess that's your water break too. And another one is Jessica Smith TV. So she's gotten a lot of good feedback because she actually keeps her videos up to date. So you pick, high intensity interval training, you can pick resistance exercise, stretching exercises, and all of it is there. And she's very limited space. So there's not a lot of people that couldn't, carve out a 6x6, area for themselves, or move furniture if you have to.
Yeah.
So those are just some options for activity at home. But the biggest part of it is trying to establish a routine, whether you pick, if you're watching the provincial update and you want to watch that, and then you're going to take your 30 minutes, or if you want to get up and first thing in the morning and you're going to do it, really when you do it doesn't matter, but you need to decide when. And establishing the routine is so much harder than actually sticking with the routine. So that's one suggestion that I always make to people is, schedule it with yourself. And once it becomes a habit, that most of the work is done.
Mm-hmm. So if you're just tuning in, we are talking to Jess Browne, who's a physiotherapist, and she is highlighting, 3 points of what people could be doing right now in absence of your physiotherapy or your regular healthcare professionals that could be helping you, chiropractic or massage. Can you go through those 3 again, just highlight them?
Okay. So I'm trying to do waves instead of talking. So the 3 different domains, of course, were people who were currently engaged in treatment or would engage in treatment and now don't have access to those providers. People who are trying to work from home in, maybe a not ergonomically ideal environment. And then looking at how our activity level has changed with, shutdown of gyms, recreational facilities, green spaces, any activities that you normally would do. All of that's basically been put on the back burner for the last, going on 8 weeks now.
I never actually exercised regularly until this happened and I was put off work.
So yes, you did.
I know. It was the thing that got sacrificed the most though, right? It was I didn't get out of work in time to make it to my kickboxing class at 6:00. And then whether I had time to go to the gym, which is on the other side of town from my house kind of thing. But it was always where I could fit it. And now it's the first thing I do every day with the exception of today. And yesterday, I wasn't a really good regular pattern.
You're getting ratted out.
It's I could not be honest, but that's the truth. It's actually the longest stretch I had. I did a program with a friend over FaceTime, which we were discussing about. It was very different than what I'm used to doing. And but I got to the point where I look forward to knowing that I did that in the morning and then I had my breakfast after that. It was that was my routine and still is.
And like that's why it comes back so important. Like schedule appointments with yourself. Like, it's always the thing that can go. Like you'd never miss a work appointment or, a hair appointment, especially now. But appointments for ourselves, when it's just that's why, having a buddy that you do things with makes you so much more to be successful because there's that, camaraderie in it. And you're also, you have to explain to somebody why, oh yeah, I'm not doing it today. Why not? I don't want to.
Yeah.
Most times you're not going to do that.
No.
Everyone is still going to miss a day, and we need to kind of accept that some body just needs rest, and maybe it's a walk around the block and sit out in fresh air. But to stay on track, it definitely helps to have someone that you feel like maybe you're suffering a little bit with.
Well, like I say, it's just someone you got to check in with. It's easier for you to go, nah, I'm not going to do it today. But when you have to tell that other person that you're not going to do it today and you didn't do it yesterday, it's like, no, okay.
Yeah. Who's going to know? Well, they are.
Yeah. And all the other friends you told, and you tell them so that you know and are accountable to them. So
yeah, how'd that go? Nobody wants to say not good.
He's like, I didn't do it. Or really great. I'm really loving it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. What was your favorite move, Alicia?
The one with the barbells. That go over.
There's no barbells in 21 Day Fix.
You lie. There are two. We just finished 21 Day Fix Extreme. And there was plenty of barbell in those, let me tell you. They were not kidding about the extreme part on the end of that. She really kicked it up.
Yeah, definitely. You see how you get the foundation movements. That's why, anybody who wants to start something never hurts to pick a program where there's a modifier, because you're always better off to do some than say, oh, I can't do that, so I'm not doing any of it. And I think sometimes that can be a really discouraging factor, that people feel like they need to be in shape to participate in a program when really that's not the goal. Everyone's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, very true. And I modify all the time. I've got bad shoulders, bad wrists. Oh my God. Instagram name is coming up, but real name is escaping me. Oh my God. True real estate law. For the love of God, cannot remember your first name right now. Kit Rich Fitness.
Write it quick.
I know. I get oh my God, Jane. God, I hope I'm right. But I'm totally blanking on that. I hate it when that's the same when we go to tattoo conventions. You see people and it's like, I have no idea what your actual name is because your Instagram name is something so crazy. But
you can't just make it your name. Yeah.
Kit Rich Business. Yes, Jane, there we go. Okay, good. So sorry about that. I've never heard of Kit Rich Fitness. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Well, there's so many different programs out there, no doubt. If you care to throw something in there, Jane, about what you like about that one. I've been doing
Get Rich?
Kit Rich Fitness.
Oh, Kit Rich. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And Dana had suggested the Fitness Blender. Is that the one that, I don't know if she's still on there, but I had done one with her when she was up visiting, when people could visit. And that was a pretty good program too. I do like the programs where, like the 21 Day Fix, for example, it's like I have those workouts for those 3 weeks. I don't have to worry what I'm going to do next or put together or
the calendar is there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Sylvia. I see her face totally. And I was thinking of it at the Indian dinner fundraiser we did, which done. Sorry, I could not friggin' pull her name out of my mouth to save my life. So you might have heard earlier as well, or if you missed it, that some professionals are doing online consultations with people to help them in lieu of hands-on treatment. So how does that work? Like you assess what it is from like visually from the symptoms that they're telling you?
So it definitely put a bit of a shift. I will say that about 6 of the physios that I work with, we all got together to try to decide, okay, so typically you do so much hands-on, you move people, like check their strength, you can touch them. How were we going to do this with only being able to ask, like, can you point to where it hurts and tell me a bit about it? Obviously you can do all your active movement, because the platform that we use is encrypted because it's used specifically for health services. But, you do your subjective history taking just like you would with someone in person. When did it start? How did it start? And then with your objective, you can get people set back to, put them through functional movements and, different movement chains and to see where that dysfunction might be coming from. The really nice thing about the platform that we use as well is exercise programming is actually assigned on that platform. So, and it uses videos instead of pictures. So if I were to assign you a program, when you click on each individual one, it shows you what that is. And then I can actually assign an adherence. So every time I have a patient sign in and do their 2 or 3 times a day, I get a notification that, Alicia Sims
Oh,
has completed 2 sets today. And if I saw that you didn't, I could write you and be like, "Hi, Alicia, what's going on? Why are you not doing your exercises?"
hi, Michael. I can see you haven't done your exercises.
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. So
Answer your phone.
people really like that. And, they can write questions, and it's not the same undertaking. I tell everybody now, pop me an email if you have a question. People don't like to do that because they feel like, they're taking your time, but
Mhm.
that'll pop up and you can write back, and then that chat stays there. So if I said, "Oh, watch your head positioning while you're doing exercise 1," as you're doing it, you're like, "I know she told me something. What did she tell me?" You can open that again and see, "Oh, it was this."
Nice.
So, definitely worked out some kinks, but I did an assessment yesterday of someone who's 10 hours away, and it was like this. I mean, you guys are further than that, but
Yeah.
seems a bit surreal that you can offer physio services that way. And it definitely, in a province like Newfoundland and Labrador, it's definitely expanding. And I think, going forward, even after COVID, we've had people say, we don't have access to these services,
Yep.
and they'd rather have you on the internet than, have to drive 4 hours for one visit, and then you don't get back for 3 months.
That is a good point at how this could continue going forward for people who maybe their pain level aren't even able to get in, or
Yeah.
you're just too far or whatever. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're in Newfoundland and you're a little further ahead than we are here in Nova Scotia. Are you guys talking about getting back to work at this point?
So, with the phases of the public health, with the government in Newfoundland, they put in place a 5-phase system, 5 being maximum restrictions to 0 being, normal. So, we launched phase 4 yesterday, May 11th, which will be at least 28 days long. That's dependent on cases.
Right, the W.
Physiotherapy, massage therapy, chiropractic clinics, any rehab clinics are set for phase 3. So earliest we will be back in clinic is June 8th. But it's definitely a little bit different because, we've got our college licensing board and the Canadian board making recommendations and requirements
Mhm.
for the PPE that we will need to have and the patients will need to have. And that's different for physio and massage and because we all have different college bodies. So there's definitely been a lot of logistics to what do we need, even waiting rooms. You can't have people in waiting rooms. And, I work in a clinic where it's myself, 2 massage therapists, a chiro, we have an exercise therapy program, we have a rheumatologist. So there could be 10 people in the waiting room to
Right.
start with. So looking at how are we going to do this to get people into the treatment area immediately so
Mhm.
that there's no crossover time. And plexiglass is being installed in the reception areas. And I heard a lot from people working in this field that normal to what we had pre-COVID might not happen.
I
I think
wonder.
there may be.
Yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
I say, I think there may be some, lingering precautions that, just make people a little bit more aware.
Yeah, there's definitely two bodies of people, of like the one hand that say like when we get back to normal, what normal was, and then there's the
Mm-hmm.
people say that's never going to happen again. This is it now. Like people having to wear PPE to go to their appointments or have the people they're going to see both wearing it. I was curious if it was going to go that way, if they're going to have the patients wearing it as well as the practitioners.
I mean, to be honest, I think we're all kind of hoping because, I mean, we've all seen the infection models that, if I have a mask on and you don't and you have COVID, what the risk is. And then if I don't have a mask on and you do, but you have COVID, what the risk is. And obviously, the least risk is both parties being masked. And I mean, the physical distancing just isn't an option. I mean, I'm right over people's faces sometimes. So, definitely, and it's not only that person, it's that person and who they spoke to at the gas station and where their spouse works and who they interacted with. And the fact that so many people carry this virus without having symptoms, I think is definitely going to be something from a safety perspective, that hopefully people err on the side of caution.
Fingers crossed. And then it's kind of begs the question is like, are we going to be expected to provide our own PPE, or are the places that we're going expected to have it there for you at that appointment? There's so many
I know. And when you look at supply chain availability, I mean, there's a lot of Canadian distributors trying to, produce face shields and masks. But I mean, right now with medical masks or N95 masks and gloves, even gowns, um, to even be able to order it, the back order rate right now is incredible. So it's one thing to say we're going to have this, but it's another thing entirely to actually have it.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. That's very, especially as things start to open across the province and everybody
Mhm.
has the same demand. So yeah, it's going to be a little tricky for sure. Um, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Jess Browne, who's a physiotherapist with the last 10 years experience. And we're
Mhm.
talking about adjusting to working from home or if you're not working at all. She has given me some different references that I'm going to stick up on a blog. It'll be live tomorrow with, what was it again? So it was like different heights and stuff for your desk.
So there is a home ergonomic checklist. So
Checklist.
that was one file. And there's also a link from Workplace Prevention and Safety about some things to look out for in addition to the checklist.
Mhm.
The other link that I sent you is a release from the World Health Organization about opportunities to be active in the home.
Mhm.
And I will also send you a list of all those activity recommendations in the YouTube channels that we talked about.
Right. Yes. So YouTube channels, if you're looking for stretches or activities to do, that's one thing I really appreciate about the Apple Watch. And I'm sure other devices have it too, but
Mm-hmm.
every hour it prompts you to stand up and move for 1 minute. And I can't tell you how many hours I wouldn't do that if my watch didn't go off. You don't
Yeah,
have to like,
mine, I have a Fitbit. Mine buzzes at 10 minutes to the hour to tell me
yeah.
if I haven't gotten like my 250 steps. And, most times you're like, oh God, gotta get it because it tells you how many you have left, right?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, mine
So,
doesn't
I mean,
do that.
it's a good prompt.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, that's an interesting different plug for that. Counting, I don't look at my steps until the end of the day, and it's like, oh, I did this many today, if I did any, and the last few have been
Mm.
lethargic. So definitely I've been doing a lot. How do you?
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, you can go ahead. How do I find what?
How do you find yourself not working long days, treating people like you have a very physical job? Like, are you feeling better now that you're not working? Because I thought I would feel better not tattooing, and I don't. I'm still a miserable wreck.
Well, I think we can also look at, no, I'm not working, so my hands
Mm.
feel, which are usually brittle little claws by the end of the day, are definitely feeling better. Um, and I'm still like active with the dog and make sure I get my activity time in, but I am definitely also spending a large increased portion of time sitting on the couch reading or watching TV, or so sometimes I'm like, ugh. And I
Yeah.
think it's just from,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and when you look at yourself, if you never allow somebody else to sit like that, but
Yeah.
so I
Absolutely.
try not to do that. But in general, it's been a huge change in routine for me because, when you work 8 hours a day, I'm like, okay, I'll, clean or cook or bake or do some laundry. I'm like, all the things that I do anyway when I work full time, except now I don't work.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So filling the time is definitely, and it can be a bit of a black hole, right? I've been thankful that the weather here has been good enough to be able to get out. I mean, all but 3 days since this started when it absolutely poured, I
Yeah.
made sure I got out with the dog. So you got to dress for it, but also I'm like, I don't think I could physically stay in the house for that long.
I've definitely had days like I'm trying to limit the not so much outside, like I'll go out of the house or go for a walk, but I mean, I'm definitely in the house more than I've ever been in my friggin' entire life. And that's part of why I like the my routine is to get up and work out in the morning, only because I friggin' hate exercise. I hate it with every fiber
Mm.
of my being. Oh, the volume is gone. Thank you, Dana. Uh, hopefully it's back there now. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? An alarm for my phone went off and it might have taken the volume with it. Wait for that to come back. But yeah, I hate exercising. I hate it so friggin' much, but I know I have to do it, A, because I will be a miserable wreck otherwise, and I eat like an arsehole, so I'll also be 400 pounds. So I have to get it done in the morning because otherwise I won't do it. As the day goes on, I just won't do it. I've got to get it over with in the morning and then it's done.
Then it's one shower and you're done for the day and then you can go have your breakfast. And that's different for everybody. I mean, some people prefer to do it after supper or mid-afternoon.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
pick what works for you and really any time of day, as long as it's not interrupting your sleep schedule, anytime is fine.
Oh,
And I think the biggest take home for people is, even little bits at a time, if you went for a 10-minute walk and you did that 2 or 3 times a day, you get as much benefit from that as if you went for a 30-minute walk. So these little chunks of activity time add up. And sometimes when you think, oh, it's not worth putting the shoes and the coat and everything on for that, it is. And even if it is that only opportunity, it's still 10 minutes out of the house, 10 minutes to yourself. And, you know, the physical and the mental health benefits that come along with exercise all the time, but especially at times like this, it's huge.
So just to recap, because there was no volume on Instagram because my alarm went off and it was still snoozing. What I was saying was how much I hate exercise, like Passion of a Thousand Suns, hate it, but my body, I have so many issues with my neck and my back and my shoulders and my wrists and everything that I have to do at least 30 minutes a day. And I do it in the morning now because I should preface that, but I do it in the morning now to get it over with because then I don't have to think about it anymore. But when I'm working, I don't get to do it in the morning because I just cannot get up that extra hour earlier to like do it, stop sweating, shower, and get to work in time. So yeah, no, definitely not. I work out now in the morning to get it over with, but normally it's an after work thing and then go home and die. I hate it.
You know, die from joy from doing all the activity.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's supposed to be joyful, but it's really not. I mean, actually, that's why I enjoy the joys of home. I gotta let my senior diabetic dog out so she can pee on the floor. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, that's why I like kickboxing so much, because the angrier you are to be there doing it, the better you do. So for me, that's the ideal exercise because I just like, I don't want to do this. I want to go home and eat stuff. So it works out well.
Double benefit.
Yeah, it's definitely not for everybody, but it works well for me. Turns out I really like punching things and kicking. Actually missed that terribly. But you did not enjoy that activity when I dragged you along with me, you boot camp bunny.
I don't care for exercising in my bare feet.
Fair. That is a fair point. Yeah. I don't care for gyms as much. I have been going this last year, and I do like the variety of equipment I get at a gym, and it's a smaller scale gym. So I have been lucky enough to go, I guess, on the not peak times. So yeah, I can do the elliptical today, or I can get on the treadmill, or I can do this, and I can do these weights and that kind of thing. So I do like that about the gym, but the gym is intimidating because I don't know how to use a lot of the things, or I'm like, what do I look like when I'm doing this? And like, and I can't bring up my nerve to do the, to use the free weights there. Like there's always somebody over there and I'm like,
yeah,
no, they're going to think my form is bad, or I'm going to like, wait a
what if someone talks to me? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Something terrible is going to happen. So yeah, we all have our whatever. So if you can find something that you can do at home. If you missed it, we are going to do a blog post on turobuzz.com tomorrow with all the different references that Jess is proposing, from a checklist for at home, different suggested YouTube videos if you need to get moving, stretching. And if you haven't checked, a lot of healthcare professionals are actually offering video, would you say appointments, consultations?
Virtual services. And actually a lot of insurance companies have come out and said that they will cover that. All the major ones like Blue Cross, Great West Life, Canada Life, Sun Life. Now, we always encourage anyone that they do check with their provider to make sure that they will offer it. But after this continued on for, longer than a couple of weeks, most of them are on board because they know that people need it.
Speaking of why I exercise while I drain my beer glass. Don't pretend like you don't have a glass there. Yeah, that's right.
Mine's a little fuller than yours.
Well, I had longer.
Drink local.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I did a live on my own personal account a little while ago of all the amazing craft beers I've been drinking. Hence, for still, why I have to find workout time throughout my day is because, damn, those craft beers are good.
Well, and once we're allowed to go back to work, we want to make sure that we can actually fit out the doors of our homes.
My jeans is not good. Every time I put them on, it's like, what it reminds me of is anybody watched Cougar Town? They did an excellent episode about skinny jeans and how like they have to like they're bruised from like waist to knees because they're so tight. Oh, it's brutal.
Back in my retail days, we used to say you got to kick into the skinny jeans or else they're too big.
That's how I put on all my jeans, and then because I'm more ample around the posterior where it's like hop, pull, hop, pull,
Yeah,
hop, pull.
hop, squat, squat. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now after putting on the COVID-19, as I've been calling it, it's much. I'm in the stretchy pant area. I also really enjoy how you generally only see my lower half.
Yeah.
Because I've always got something with like super stretchy on.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. The first couple of weeks that we were off doing laundry, I was like, "Where's all my bras?" I'm like, "In the drawer where they belong, never to be seen again."
I was telling you, I've worn sports bras so much that the day I wore a regular bra, I was so foreign to the concept. Yeah, I tried to pull it over my head with a sports bra. I just near maimed myself. It was
the hooks.
What just happened? Like, I don't want to talk about it.
Nothing.
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, but that was a really good ender. Yeah, so I'll clue you up here because I think we've run through all the comments and questions that I had there. So we were talking with Jess Browne, physiotherapist, who is going to pass along some resources that I'm going to post on turobuzz.com tomorrow. A good checklist for working at home and ergonomics, as well as some great YouTube videos for movement and just pointers if you found from working from home or not working anymore that your body is not feeling great and you may need to make some adjustments. And also that you want to check in with your healthcare providers because they could be doing online, I've already forgotten what you said, it was online
virtual services.
Virtual services, right, virtual services. So yeah, if you haven't checked in with your healthcare provider, check on that because some are doing that, and that is a great way to get between your services until we're allowed to return and be touched by other people in a healthcare manner.
Mm. In a professional setting.
Yeah. In a professional sense. As it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, I need to trail this off so it does not sound awful. Thanks for coming on and joining us, and I look forward to getting that blog up for everybody.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. You guys have a great week, and sorry, Instagram. Apparently, we can't do the two together because the feedback was terrible, so hopefully you got some of this information out of it, and we'll see you next week. Okay, that one, oh, that darn clock again. Technology fail. Okay, there we go. And this is not a touch screen.
Hi, Beth.